Can you tell me how did you find out that the leptin is the reason, in some cases, for the obesity?
The original research was a study of a very strange mouse that's obese because of a defect in one gene. And you can tell that by breeding the animals, and if the children of two animals develop the obesity, you can calculate that a single gene is involved. And we didn't know what the gene was, but we knew there was a gene. And so we looked for it using some newer methods for identifying genetic defects. And it turns out that defective gene encodes the hormone leptin. And the reason the animal is obese is because it fails to make this hormone.
And did you check if the food can affect this hormone?
What affects the hormone is the amount of fat you carry. If you make more fat, you make more leptin. If you make less fat, you make less leptin. And so in a normal person, leptin goes up and down as your weight goes up and down and regulates appetite to keep your weight at the same level. The problem in the mouse is that it makes no leptin, so it never makes the signal that turns appetite off and just eats more and more and more and becomes obese.
And what kind of treatment did you find out to cure this problem?
Well, leptin is a hormone that's made of amino acids. It's a small protein, and you can make that protein in the laboratory. If you give that protein to the mice that lack it, they stop eating and reduce their weight. The same thing is true in some human patients who also lack leptin, and giving them the hormone back reduces food intake and weight. Now, most patients don't have a defect in leptin, and leptin is less effective if you already make some. But for the patients who don't make it, it's life-saving. I think the most important part of this is that it tells us that body weight and food intake are regulated by biological factors, and has now given us an opportunity to understand how nerve cells regulate appetite and how to modulate their activity.
What would you suggest for those who are facing with this problem?
Well, there are actually new treatments for obesity. They're not directly related to leptin, but they're molecules that also regulate nerve cells that control appetite. And these are very popular drugs right now in the United States and are highly effective. In time, as we learn more about how leptin acts and how these other hormones act, I think new treatments will come about that may also include the use of leptin to enhance the effects of these other agents. But there's been a complete change in how this disorder is treated around the world, because for the first time there are highly effective treatments.
In Hungary right now, the most well-known, or let's say fancy, treatment is the insulin.
Insulin is a treatment for diabetes. It actually promotes obesity in some ways. These new drugs mimic a different hormone called GLP-1, and giving drugs that are GLP-1, we call analogs related to GLP-1 that last in the bloodstream a long time, reduce insulin and reduce weight. And we think, based on animal studies, that combining these agents, which are very effective with leptin, will give enhanced effects.
Thank you.